The political landscape of the United Kingdom has been shaken to its core in recent weeks, as shocking revelations and internal turmoil have cast a shadow over the leadership of Keir Starmer, the head of the Labour Party. Known for his composed demeanour and strategic decision-making, Starmer has found himself at the centre of a growing controversy that threatens to undermine both his authority and the party's future. The latest developments have left political analysts and the public alike in a state of disbelief, as insiders from within the Labour ranks have come forward with startling accusations that paint a picture of a party on the brink of collapse. It all began when several Labour MPs unexpectedly announced their resignation, an event that sent shockwaves throughout the political establishment. While resignations in politics are not uncommon, the manner in which these MPs chose to exit was anything but ordinary. Rather than quietly stepping away, they made their departures in a dramatic and public fashion, demanding accountability from Starmer for his failure to deliver on key promises outlined in Labour's election manifesto. The grievances they aired ranged from economic policies to internal party operations, with the most damning claims suggesting that Starmer had deliberately misled voters to gain power. One of the central points of contention was the party's handling of the Grangemouth refinery situation. During the general election campaign, Labour had pledged to intervene and save the facility, securing thousands of jobs and ensuring its long-term viability. However, 6 months into power, no action had been taken, leaving workers in a state of uncertainty. This failure to follow through on such a significant promise became a rallying point for disillusioned MPs, who accused Starmer of betraying the very people Labour was meant to represent. When confronted with these accusations, Starmer attempted to deflect criticism, insisting that efforts were being made behind the scenes to secure the refinery's future. But for many, these reassurances rang hollow, further fueling speculation that Labour's leadership was more concerned with optics than genuine policy solutions. As the resignations continued, a deeper and more alarming picture of internal discord emerged. Several departing MPs alleged that Starmer had been orchestrating a strategy that prioritised short-term political gains over meaningful change. According to them, behind closed doors, Labour's leadership had engaged in backroom deals, policy manipulations, and targeted messaging designed to secure power at any cost. These claims suggested that rather than standing firm on Labour's traditional values, Starmer had shifted the party toward a centrist approach in an attempt to appeal to moderate Conservative voters. This move, they argued, not only alienated Labour's core supporters but also risked eroding the party's identity altogether. Perhaps the most explosive revelation came when one anonymous MP, who later revealed their identity in a passionate parliamentary speech, accused Starmer of betraying Labour's fundamental principles. With growing frustration, they claimed that there was never any genuine intention to support the workers at Grangemouth and that the supposed initiatives put forward were nothing more than a smokescreen to placate critics. The MP further alleged that under Starmer's leadership, a culture of fear and suppression had taken hold within the party, where dissenting voices were silenced and only a select few had real influence over decision-making. This, they warned, had created a deeply divided Labour Party, where morale was plummeting and internal fractures were becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Then came the bombshell revelation that sent political observers into a frenzy. A leaked document, allegedly detailing Labour's secret plans for the next election, surfaced and exposed a level of manipulation that left many stunned. If authentic, the document suggested that Labour had devised strategies to exploit divisions within the Conservative Party, orchestrate misinformation campaigns to discredit opponents, and sideline MPs who refused to fall in line with Starmer's vision. The implications of such tactics were profound, as they indicated a calculated effort to reshape the political landscape of the UK in ways that many voters might find deeply unsettling. For the public, this was an unprecedented look into the inner workings of a major political party, but for Starmer, it was nothing short of a nightmare unfolding in real time. In response to these damning accusations, Starmer has attempted to project an image of calm and composure. He has denied all allegations, dismissing them as baseless attacks designed to destabilize Labour's progress. Yet, despite his efforts to downplay the controversy, speculation continues to mount, and the media remains relentless in its pursuit of the truth. Critics argue that these revelations could not have come at a worse time for Labour. With a general election on the horizon, the party was expected to present itself as a unified and competent alternative to the Conservatives. Instead, Labour now finds itself embroiled in internal chaos, a narrative that could severely impact its chances at the polls. Supporters of Starmer, however, have rushed to his defense, insisting that the resignations and accusations are nothing more than a coordinated effort by disgruntled MPs who oppose his leadership. They argue that the party's new direction under Starmer is a necessary evolution and that those who fail to adapt are merely lashing out in frustration. But even if Starmer manages to weather this political storm, the long-term consequences for Labour remain uncertain. Trust, once broken, is difficult to restore, and the perception of Labour as a party in turmoil could linger well beyond the current crisis. Complicating matters further is the broader political climate in the UK. The Conservative Party is also facing its own share of internal divisions and scandals, making the political landscape more unpredictable than ever. This instability has created an opening for smaller parties to gain traction, as disillusioned voters seek alternatives to the traditional two-party system. For Starmer, navigating this environment will require more than just damage control. It will demand a fundamental reassessment of his leadership approach and the party's overall strategy. One of the most significant points of contention in recent months has been Labour's stance on immigration. Critics argue that Starmer's policies have prioritised the needs of incoming migrants over those of British citizens, leading to widespread dissatisfaction among the electorate. This perceived neglect has further strained his relationship with voters, contributing to a sharp decline in approval ratings. In fact, some political analysts have drawn comparisons between Starmer's current standing and the lowest points of previous prime ministers such as Margaret Thatcher and Tony Blair. The fact that such comparisons are being made so early into his tenure is a troubling sign for his leadership prospects. As the dust continues to settle, the question remains: can Starmer turn this crisis into an opportunity for reform and renewal, or is this the beginning of the end for his leadership? The events of the past few weeks have undoubtedly marked a turning point in his political career, and the coming months will be critical in determining whether he can regain control of the party and restore public confidence. Meanwhile, the MPs who have spoken out against him have sparked a larger conversation about transparency, accountability, and the true nature of political power. Their decision to expose what they perceive as the darker side of Labour's operations has resonated with many voters who are tired of political games and demand real change. This story is far from over. As new details emerge and the political fallout continues to unfold, the future of Labour, and indeed, the UK's political landscape as a whole, hangs in the balance. Will more Labour MPs follow suit and resign in protest? Will Starmer's leadership survive this onslaught of criticism? Or are we witnessing the beginning of a seismic shift in British politics? One thing is certain: the drama surrounding Keir Starmer and the Labour Party is far from finished, and the nation will be watching closely as the next chapter unfolds.